year where they were going everywhere, so.
Yeah, okay.
So Alex,
I'm just curious, what can't we get from the state in terms of fuel oil?
Oh, we can get gasoline, we can get diesel, we have cards to use at the state sheds.
Yeah, I'm
They
familiar
bill
with
us, it all works out.
But someone had mentioned that there are fuels that we don't get from the state.
We don't get it locked in rates.
Propane's one,
Yeah.
Alex. Propane's one for heating.
Okay.
That's one. Other than that, most of the fuel for the equipment you can get.
Heating oil.
We'll look into
Heating
that.
oil too, right?
have we ever looked into working with the other surrounding towns to buy collectively?
Well, I know we'd had the regional purchasing committee several years back, Ted Colbert was on it, and
We got school.
Did we?
my understanding
With the school.
Oh, well, that was with the school.
for the heating bills, my understanding was that we were doing pretty well with most of our purchasing.
Okay.
But it's worth looking at again.
I mean, if we're looking at the whole broker question, and if we could get Jaffrey, Peterborough, New Ipswich, Fitzwilliam, I don't know, if that would make or break being able to go through a broker because of volume.
I mean, I think this is why the state provides this service.
Right,
Yeah.
Because, you know, it helps all of the towns.
sure.
And they're buying it in quantity, and it's convenient to us, and it's built in a very simple way, and it
Well,
works.
one thing with the fuel, I might add, that, you know, Fogs and Sunoco, at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm plowing, they're not open.
Right.
That's right.
So, the state, you go down, there's power all the time, and if there's issues with the pumps down there, the state DOT is usually out, and I'm not just talking highway, but they're usually out. So we've had issues in the past where the machine's broke and they bypass it so we can get fuel. So there's more factors into it than just.
Well, even Fogs and most of the rest of them, use those pumps at 2 AM on a debit card. Because I've done that plenty of
Well,
times.
it's there, if
Not in
you're
Renton,
stuck,
you haven't.
yeah.
What?
Not New Hampshire, you haven't. New Hampshire has to be manned stations, and if they're not, they're in violation of state fire code.
Do we
Well,
own,
I can show you pumps that work.
do we own our propane tanks?
No, we don't.
Have we thought about that?
Yes. We have.
Yeah, because I know the pricing is hugely different.
Yeah.
The problem is you need to, the
Depends how much you
vendors,
use.
yeah. This year I called around and got prices for propane, and we have Allen and Mathewson at the fire and at the rec. And to make a long story short, I suppose at some point in time, it would be good to look into our own.
Yeah, because I know I pay a lot more for,
And then you can,
than somebody that has their own tank.
right, so that's something you
Yeah.
definitely
Okay.
should look into.
All right, let's
All right,
go
let's
back
move
to
on.
animal control. You'll see is just up a couple $100. That's for a uniform for Larry. Ambulance is level funded. The fire department. Haven't had a chance to talk to the chief because he's been on vacation this week, but I appreciate you coming in to join us. Don't do that. All right.
Thank you, Rick.
Okay, so at the, with my recommendation, we're showing a 7% increase in the department. There is still quite a bit to look at here. On the operating side, the most significant increases, well, actually, let's start with the wages. On the wages, we're looking at significant increases for the volunteers, call hours, and training. Chief Donovan had proposed roughly a $20,000 increase. I am not sure that we can do that much, actually 30,000. I don't know that we can do that all this year, and so I'm proposing a compromise of 15,000. And you know, the chief, when you look at his detailed explanation, he can justify every hour. And so I do think that the budget committee ought to sit down with him and hear what he has to say about his projections for number of calls and staffing per call, and hear it from his perspective. Okay, on the operating side, there were some fairly significant, increases. And I'll just highlight a couple of them. The SCBA maintenance, was gonna be a $6,000 increase. I'm hoping there might be some way to meet in the middle on that one.
Can you define SCBA?
Those
Yes.
are the self-contained breathing apparatus.
Can I further explain that, because compromising life safety, and this is why. We have 14 packs, we have 14 spare bottles. Over the course of the last 10 years, in 1999, we did a warrant article for those things. At that time, we also made a pact that we were going to replace them every 10 years. I wrote a grant this year, however, 8 of those bottles did not pass the hydro test this year, which means they need to be replaced. So that, well, I put 6 as a clerical error, it's 8 bottles that need to be replaced, and that is the $6,000.
Okay.
We take the $6,000 away, we take the air pack off of the guy's back. That's the bottom line.
Okay.
Okay. You'll also notice, roughly $4,200 increase in contract services. Part of that is a contract on the RO system, and maybe Rick can offer some additional explanation on that.
Well, the RO system is the system that was put in the station for washing the trucks because the finish on the paint was being destroyed from the old well. Under the new well, they said the recommendation from the well people was to leave the system in. That was always absorbed within the fire department budget. It was never budgeted before. So it always got absorbed into the fire apparatus line item. You'll notice over the years, my apparatus line item has been over budget by almost that same figure is it's costing to maintain that RO system. So when the system was put in back, I think in 99 or 2000, the maintenance cost was never factored into that at all. And what happens is you have filters in that system that need to be changed out every quarter. And that's where it's a service contract. They pay for the salt, they pay for the filters on the RO system side of the thing, and they take care of the whole system. It's an annual service contract, including parts and materials.
Do we have to put that out to bid? Or have we ever?
I did once in Simply Clean. I used Simply Clean because I was always in the industry of the power generation, which does RO systems all the time. Simply Clean has always been the cheaper. We could put it back out to bid, but I think you're gonna find Simply Clean out of Connecticut is gonna beat everybody out.
Okay.
But it's worth the exercise.
Another area with a significant increase is the vaccinations, and we've talked about this for the past couple of years. And it's not just vaccinations, it's firefighter physicals, it's the things that we do to make sure that the firefighters are in proper physical condition to do the job and are protected against anything that might happen to them while they're doing the job.
So shouldn't we change that accounting?
Yeah, every year we mark it down and somehow it doesn't get changed in the accounting software, so we'll
That's not really indicative.
try to get a note to the accountants to change this.
Okay.
I think that will only increase in the future.